Good day, poker peeps. This is Sky with Smart Poker Study. You are going to train to make more river Cbets with this video. I highly recommend right now whip out Poker Tracker 4 because we're going to be doing some work, baby. So first off, how often do you Cbet the flop, the turn, and the river? This month I've played about 6,800 hands or so. You can see my Cbetting, 61 flop, 57 on the turn, rounding up, and then down to 44% on the river. Kind of a gradual decrease from street to street. Now for you, if you have that same, not exactly the same numbers, but if you also see a gradual decrease from flop turn to river, that's good. If you see a huge drop like 70 to 60 down to 30, that's potentially bad. That's why the bad here is in quotes, because you might be C-betting exactly as much as you should, but with that huge drop, if your opponents have stats on you, they can see that you're a pretty river honest C-better. And if you're C-betting half as often on the river as you are on the turn, there's a good chance you're missing out on some value or some potential good steals with the Cbet bluff. Now, what are your win rates as well? This might convince you to pull the trigger on more river Cbets. I'm going to filter for these real quick. I'm not going to exactly show you how to get this filter, how to build it for yourself, but I have these saved as quick filters. Cbet on the flop, positive 491 big blinds per 100 hands. C-betting on the turn, positive 802 big blinds per 100 hands. Lovely. And then C-betting on that river, positive 1449. That means on average, every time I C-bet the river, I am earning 14.49 big blinds. You can see it was only 20 hands. And at 44%, I know that I can be C-bet bluffing and C-betting for value a little bit more often. So that's what we are going to work on. For anybody with a C-bet on the river at less than 33%, today you're going to find more river C-bets. So please train for it right now. Follow along in Poker Tracker 4. So let's train to find value C-bets. First, a good river value C-betting strategy is that you value C-bet if you can name hands in their range that can call and give you the value that you're looking for. And a great question to ask yourself about your opponent's calling range is, what can call and give us value? So in Poker Tracker 4 right now, I want you to filter for these possible missed value C-bet opportunities. Now, it's a 3-part filter. River Cbet opportunity, you checked, but you still won the hand. And now I'm saying these are possible missed value Cbet opportunities because not every single one of these deserve a value Cbet. What it's going to require is for you to go in, run this 3-part filter for yourself, and then review all of the hands. And you need to determine if you missed a great value Cbet or if checking was the best play. Let's run this filter together right now. In Poker Tracker 4, click More Filters. Go to Actions and Opportunities on the river. River Opportunities, Continuation Bet Opportunity. Add that to filter. Let's add part 2. Click Add Filter. Go back to the river and then Checked River. Turn that one on. Add that to filter. And the final 3rd part of the filter, go to Hand Details. Look down at Win/Loss and then turn on Player 1 Hand. Add it to filter. Save and apply filters. You can see I have this saved as a quick filter called Cbet River Opportunity plus check and 1. Now, when we look at this right here, we see 15 hands this prior month where this fit exactly. It's now my job to train for more river Cbets by reviewing all 15 hands. But right now, we're going to review just one hand. We're going to put them on a pre-flop range, and we're going to name value-giving hands on that river. The example hand is on the button. There's an ace-deuce offsuit hand where we flopped top pair, weak kicker. Let's go ahead and pop this one open right here. We open raise on the button. There's only 3 players dealt in. We have ace of hearts, deuce of spades. Small blind folds, and the big blind decides to defend. Now, he has a really wide defense range, probably most suited hands, every single pocket pair, every Broadway, lots of offsuit aces, kings, probably some queens, some offsuit connectors like 9-8, and even offsuit gappers like 7-5, because it only costs 1 more big blind. Pretty wide range right now. Remember, we have ace-deuce in position. The pot on the flop is 4.4 big blinds. And then we see the ace of spades, queen of spades, 3 of hearts. So we have top pair, weak kicker with the deuce. He checks to us. So we decide to come out for a half pot C-bet. So we got to ask ourselves, what can call and give us value? I would say queen X hands, queen 10, queen jack with that second pair. Flush draws like king of spades, eight of spades because there's two spades on the board. Gut shot draws like king jack with the ace queen on the board. And actually under pairs, they can easily call for one street and they don't want to fold just yet. Just think about like pocket fives, sixes, and sevens on the ace queen 3. So he calls. The pot on the turn is 8.8 big blinds, and the 9 of diamonds hits. Now, the 9 of diamonds, it doesn't complete any draws, and if he wasn't scared with the ace and the queen on the board already, this probably isn't going to be a scare card again. So it's a good time to barrel Cbet for value here, and once he checks, we decide to go half pot once again. But we got to ask ourselves, of course, what can call and give us value? Because we always want to think about his continuance range when he does actually, in fact, call us right now. Once again, I think any queen can call, any flush draws, because there's two spades out there. Those gut shots like king jack, and even a jack 10 that had a gut shot, the 9 on the turn, because the board is now ace queen 9 3. That 9 just improved some gut shots to open-enders, and then maybe even a pair of 9s. Like, imagine he had 10-9 or 9-8 on the flop. In case he called with those, especially if it was like 9-8 of spades, he now has a flush draw plus a pair. After his call, the jack of hearts hits. So the final board is queen, ace, 3, 9, jack, 2 hearts and 2 spades. So the flush did not complete. He decided to check to us. Now that jack did complete a couple of straight draws, and it improved some 1 pair hands to like 2 pair hands. Just imagine like queen jack now rivered our pair of aces. However, the flush draw didn't get there, and some of his straight draws just now hit a pair of jacks. So I think this is a really good time to bet for value, and I would like to continue with the same bet size of half pot just to get him to call one more time. Maybe once again he will not believe that we had an ace that we bet half pot, flop, turn, and river. We want all of those weaker pairs, jack X, 9X, queen X, to call us right now. And in case he does have an ace, it's interesting, there's actually a few aces that we chop with. Our pair of aces have a queen, jack, 9, so we actually chop with ace deuce, ace 4, ace 5, ace 6, ace 7, ace 8. And if he turned or rivered a 2 pair, ace 9 or ace jack, now's the time for him to check raise. We can bet half pot for value and easily fold versus a raise. But ultimately, we decided to check behind. What a shame, and he shows us the king 8 of spades for a busted flush draw. Now, of course, if we had bet, he would not have called with a king high hand on the ace queen high board. But still, he could have turned or rivered a pair that just would not have wanted to give up. So this would have been a profitable river Cbet opportunity. Now let's train to find bluff Cbets. First, a bluff Cbetting on the river strategy. Bluff Cbet if you can name lots of hands in their range that can find that fold button. And a great question to ask yourself, what hands can find the fold? So now we want to go through our database and find those possible missed bluff Cbet opportunities. Once again, not all of these are going to be spots where you should have bluffed, but there's a 3-part filter for this one. So follow along in Poker Tracker 4. You want to filter for river Cbet opportunity and then checked. Those are the first two, the same as that prior filter. But now we're going to filter for lost hand instead of one hand. So because we already have that first filter in place, just click More Filters, delete player one hand, and let's add player lost hand. So go to Add Filter, Hand Details, Win/Loss, and then turn on Player Lost Hand. Add that to filter. Go ahead and save and apply right now. Now you can see I saved this as a quick filter, Cbet River Opportunity, plus check and lost. Nice and easy, so I can train for this again in the future. So we can see this month 10 times I checked that river and then lost the hand. What you want to do is review all of the hands that come through the filter, range them pre-flop, and then name their folding hands, the hands in their range that get there to the river. Now for us, I have another button example hand, King Jack offsuit, where I don't even flop a single pair, got a bluff to win this bad boy. And we always want to think when you get to that river, what size would have gotten them to fold? And we'll run through that right now. So King Jack offsuit, the cutoff player folds. We raise, we've got the King of Spades, Jack of Hearts. Small blind player folds, and the big blind player decides to call. He started with just a 79 big blind stack. He's a 20/13 player. So we raise on the button. We got bread and butter right now, pre-flop raiser in position against one other player. The flop is a 4.4 big blind pot, and it comes down 6-5-3 with 2 hearts, and we have the jack of hearts. Now on that small card flop, our opponent has a lot of overcards that can easily find a fold once he checks to us. So we should Cbet bluff most of the time. He does end up checking, and we go 1/2 pot, 2.2 into the 4.4 big blinds. Well, we have to ask ourselves, what hands can find the fold right now? Well, I think a ton of ace high down through 10 high hands can fold, especially if they do not have a strong heart, like the ace of hearts or the king of hearts. And one of the good things, we block heart draws because we hold the jack of hearts. He cannot hold the ace, jack, king, jack, queen, jack, jack 10, jack 9 of hearts right now. And a lot of players like to continue with backdoor draws. There's a single spade on the board, but we have the king of spades, so we block a few very strong backdoor draws as well. But ultimately, a ton of overcards are folding right now. We're going to take this pot down quite often, but he does call us for 2.2 big blinds. Now that makes the pot on the turn 8.8 big blinds, and the ace of clubs hits, making the board 5-6-3 ace with 2 hearts. We have king jack once again, king high right now. So he checks to us. Now that ace of clubs, it's a great card to bluff on. We have every single ace in our range, even though we Cbet bluffed on the flop. He doesn't know that, right? We Cbet, most players would Cbet in position on that baby card board with an ace. And because it's a club, it didn't improve any possible draws that he had. So when he checks to us, we barrel bluff, and we got to ask ourselves, what size would I bet if I just now hit the ace? And I would make it somewhere over half pot. Now I'm going for value, right? So I bet 5.4 into the 8.8 big blind pot. And I'm basically trying to tell him, hey, I have an ace. Now I'm going for value with this larger bet size. So we have to ask ourselves, what hands can find the fold? Well, because it's now an ace, all the king high through 10 high hands without a good draw, those are likely going to fold. And now that the ace is there, it's possible I might even get some random pairs like 6x, 5x, 3x. I kind of doubt pocket 7s, 8s, and 9s would fold because they don't want to believe that I have an ace right now, so they might stick around. But all those weaker pairs, quite a lot of them are giving up on that ace versus my bigger bet size. But drat, he decides to call, making that pot on the river 19.6 big blinds. He has 70 big blinds behind. We have him covered. The river comes the queen of clubs, making the final board 5-6-3, ace, queen, no flush draw possible. He checks to us, and our king high is actually the best non-paired hand, so it's not necessarily a bad idea to check behind. But I think he has a ton of weaker pairs in his range that could have continued on the turn, that now that there's 2 overcards, the ace and the queen, those are giving up right now. So I think it is time for a triple barrel Cbet bluff. We have to ask ourselves, what would I bet on this river for value with an ace or better? Because I want to send the message that I have a value hand. Now on the turn, I bet roughly 2/3 pot. I think I would go 2/3 again. So there's 20 big blinds in right now. I would make it roughly 12 to 13, somewhere in that range. Now what hands can find the fold versus our triple barrel? Remember, the board is 5-6-3, ace, queen. So I'm thinking all of the weak pairs, pocket 9s, 8s, 7s, a 6, a 5, a 3, even pocket 4s and deuces can find the fold right now. Because we're in position, we've used large bet sizing, and we've shown aggression on all 4 streets. However, I don't remember this hand. I might have been scared. I might have thought he had an ace and was just slow playing me. I decided to check behind right now, and he ends up showing us Jack 6 offsuit. So he defended the big blind with a Jack 6 and hit top pair, weak kicker, and then continued with the ace on the turn. But I bet you, with that second overcard of a queen on the river, if I would have bet 2/3 pot, 12 to 13 big blinds, I bet you he could have found a fold. I think I missed out on a good steal right here. Now it's time for you to take action. First, please like the video if you liked the video, subscribe for more, and leave a comment down below. Thank you very much. I appreciate you helping to spread the word. Now it's time for your training. You're going to do 2 study sessions. The first one, spend 1 hour trying to find those missed value Cbets by running that 3-part filter. Review all of those hands, figure out how many of those river checking spots you should have actually value Cbet. And then play a session and consider each river you see, whether you're involved or not, if you should value bet and how much you would value bet. And just if you're not involved, imagine you have a top pair or better hand. And then after that, you're going to do some more training with 1 hour of finding missed bluff Cbets. So run that second 3-part filter, review all the hands, and figure out how many Cbets you missed. Then, of course, play a session and consider bluffing every single river you see, whether you're involved or not. Thank you so much for watching. Good luck and gambate!